Hey y'all, so I just did some yoga. I am about to continue doing my knot locks on my hair. I feel good. I just wanted to come on here and vent. Usually, when I have a lot going on in my brain, I either write it down or I like vent to my partner. But I'm like, let me make a video because there has been a lot on my mind lately, and I want to just put it out into the atmosphere because you never know who may be going through similar situations. So, if you guys don't know, I am a seventh grade English language arts teacher. I've been in education since I was like 21. I am 31 now. I have been in different fields of education. But for the last 4 years, I have been teaching seventh grade English, language, arts, and y'all, the system is wicked. We have children that are in seventh grade, but reading on like a first grade level. And lately, I have been trying to put the pieces together, do the research so that I can be more informed on the public school system. It is systematic. I think for me, because I came into education and I was expecting things to change, it's kind of like heartbreaking. A lot of people get to the point in their career where they're like, it is what it is. I'm just here to get my check. And I battle with accepting things the way they are, accepting things for how they have been for decades. It's definitely upsetting. And I try so hard not to get upset at my children because children do not ask to be placed into the environments that they are brought into. What saddens me is that you have parents who do not put their best foot forward so that their children can get the best education that they deserve. I remember expressing how I felt to my current principal, and he said to me, this is generations and generations and generations of people just getting through the system. And I feel that there are a lot of people at certain positions that can possibly make a change, but they are afraid of losing their salary. So they are in positions and they have been groomed to just go along to get along. I have a hard time, y'all, just going along to get along. And I've always had a very hard time since I was a little girl. I cannot just see injustices happening and not speak up or not place myself into position to at least try to make the little impact that I can make. So in my classroom, I talk about these things. I tell these kids, like, you know, even though you're placed in the system that tries to keep you oppressed, you have to try to overcome it and put your best foot forward. That means you have to go home and cut off the TV and start reading for 45 minutes each day so that you can better articulate yourself, expand your vocabulary. That means that instead of your parents spending $120 on a pair of J's, um, how about you get some educational gains so that you can better yourself? Like at a certain age, and I feel like I was more mature than a lot of the people around me. But at a certain age, early on, I realized that education for me was important. And let me say that I also had a dad who was like on it. Like, nah, like I'm not about to lose my girls in this system. They're not about to just do what they want to my child or my children. So he advocated for us. He came up to the school. He did surprise pop up. He communicated with my teachers. He was involved. Mind you, my dad also worked a 9 to 5. So when parents say things like, well, I'm busy, well, I gotta work, it's like that is a lame excuse to me. It's a lame excuse to me that you have your child in a system for majority of their lives and you don't even go up to the school to check on them to see what's going on. You don't reach out to the teachers to make sure that they're doing the work that they need to do in order to move to the next grade. Not only has the parents become complacent, but they've been rocked to sleep. So the kids sit in the classroom and they do the bare minimum and they automatically know that they're going to be passed on to the next grade because that has been their conditioning. But then they get to high school and it's like a smack in the face. It's like, now I got to work. Now I got to actually put in the effort. Now I actually got to advocate and ask questions. I can't just sit here and do the bare minimum and be passed along. And that is why so many children, specifically Black and brown children, end up dropping out. But it's all by design. So I'm very, very passionate. I'm trying to find my niche in education because I want to make an impact. But y'all, there are days and months where I come home and I'm like exhausted. Like I don't even want to deal with nobody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be by myself. There are days where I would literally just come home and sleep because when you care, let me say this, when you care about the youth and you are awakened to what is happening, it could become mentally exhausting. It can become mentally exhausting to a certain extent. I have learned to accept why people just go along to get along because it is literally an uphill battle. It is like banging your head against a wall and nobody coming to help you. Wonder if there's other teachers that feel the way I feel, or if majority of the teachers that's in education, they're just like, this is it is what it is. It has always been this way and nothing's really going to change. So you just learn to adapt and learn to accept it for what it is. I am not there yet, y'all, and I'm 31. So that's enough for what I've been going through on the career end. When I was a kid, it was always that kids should be seen and kids should not be heard. And I hated that because I had so much that I was curious about that it kind of like dimmed my light. I began to like journal, and I would journal exactly how I felt. I would go into details, and that caused like a wrath in my home. So I began to like suppress how I was feeling and just be quiet and ignore certain things. But I knew that growing up in dysfunction was not healthy. It didn't challenge me to become the best person that I could possibly be. It was very toxic and dysfunction and chaos. And I knew that that was not the normal way of living. You can know a person for years, decades. That does not mean that that person is healthy for you. So at 31, my advice to anybody that's growing up in like a dysfunctional, chaotic, drama filled environment, that sometimes you got to remove yourself from these types of environments because people don't change, people don't bloom in an environment that damaged them. And it's perfectly fine to say to yourself, you know, I want better. I want a better life. I want to live a peaceful life. I want to be able to communicate in a healthy way. I want to be around people who love me for who I am and don't try to shut me down because I have an opinion or shut me down because I don't agree on just going along to get along. It's perfectly fine to cut off family members and cut off certain friends. And I had to learn that, and it took me a long time to learn it. At 31, I'm just now accepting things for what they are. I just finished my hair. This is definitely my go-to protective style when I just don't feel like doing much to my hair.